Hey everyone, today we're going to focus on another seated posture that you actually started in yesterday. So after you came into child pose yesterday, do you remember sitting up nice and tall so that you could focus on the breath coming into all parts of the lungs? We're going to be working on that seated posture today. And so you'll see from day to day that what we did the day before leads us into the next day. So after about 5 or 6 of these sessions, we'll be putting them all together into a beautiful sequence that you can continue to practice at home. For the time being, we're just looking at one posture a day, and I'm going to call these the elements, the building blocks of your yoga practice. As you learn how to come into these postures, you're learning the principles and techniques of practicing yoga. So it's hero pose today. And hero pose, like child pose, is a great way to start your practice because it brings awareness inside the body to your breath, and it helps to quieten the mind so that you get better focusing on your breath and looking within. So we'll go through the sequence that we started yesterday, and I'll include that in the demonstration, but in future videos I won't include that because you'll know it so well, that practice that we learned yesterday to begin your yoga practice in child pose. So today I'll take you through child pose that we learned yesterday, and you'll come into some hero pose variations, which will really enable you to practice your conscious breathing again, but also starting to work more on the alignment in your body. One of the big things about hero pose is that it enables you to feel quite stable in your body. And that's very calming for your nervous system because you're resting the weight of your hips on the block or the floor or the chair, and it feels very calming to the body. It's a feeling of stability and security. And so just learning how to do that in itself is a way of changing your mood straight away. So you know the old saying, if you want to change the way you feel, change your posture. So here today we've got hero posture, and I guess you're wondering why it's called hero. And it's a lot to do with that fact that you become quite stable and centered in hero pose. So when you feel this stability and this centering and this grounding in hero pose, you become like the center of your world, and you become like the hero in your life. So there is only you, and you are performing at your best like a hero. So sometimes in hero pose, we can feel quite uncomfortable, and that's why we introduced the props yesterday. So I want you to have those props with you to use to feel as comfortable as possible in hero pose. And then, of course, you'll be able to focus on the breath and get into that meditative state of mind of looking within as we commence our yoga journey today. So those of you who have had any surgery on your ankles or your knees, you probably shouldn't be working in this hero pose today, but go straight to the chair variation. I'd like you all to try the chair variation because there's so much you can gain from that as well. But it is the equivalent of coming down to the mat. So those of you who can't come down to the mat, use the chair. And I'd like everybody to learn the very short, I think it's just over 1 minute demo video here on how to get down and up off the floor using a chair and one knee. So did you know that getting up and down off the floor is a test of your fitness? How many times you can get up and down off the floor? So learn to use a chair or anything that's nearby you, actually, using it to get up and down safely off the floor. So it's very good for your fitness. Okay, so I've included a special little 1 minute video here so you can start practicing that at home as well. Because these postures we're doing right now are on the mat, so you do have to get down off the floor and then get back up again. And even those who are using the chair, I'd like you to try getting up and down off the floor using your chair today as well. All right, everyone, so today you develop the mind of a hero, bringing out your best and being at your most courageous to meet these challenges in your body as you learn to work your body correctly in yoga postures. Thank you so much for joining me again to everyone. I can't wait until we come to tomorrow and the next day and just allow yourself to have these instructions wash over you, and eventually you won't even need my instructions. So those of you who haven't yet put your email address into the Facebook group, please go ahead and do so, because when I've got your email address, I can send you these diagrams that I've made up for each of these sequences. So eventually you can just have these diagrams beside you. You won't even need my instructions to come into your practice. So that's quite a few postures we're learning here already in 2 days, just looking at 2 basic Hatha Yoga postures and some variations. So imagine how many of these you're going to have once the week is over. So you're going to have quite a few choices here to come back to, and eventually you won't even need to watch the demonstrations. Eventually you won't even need my instructions. The more you practice these postures, the more you're training your body to work correctly, and it will want to come into these postures correctly because of the benefits you get when you're in them, because of the benefits you feel in your nervous system after you've had your yoga practice at home. All right, so don't forget, send me your email address. So as you came into the Facebook group, you would have seen some questions asked there. Please go back and answer those questions and include your email address so I can send you out these diagrams, okay? You'll be able to, they're PDF diagrams that I'll email to you that you can print out, or you can just simply download them on your phone or your pad or your desktop and have a closer look at what the postures are, what the names of the postures are, and have a look at the sequence of the postures in a static form in this photocopied PDF I'll send out to you. All right, everyone, there's always so much more to learn. So let's get back into that child pose so we can come back to the mind of a child and open our mind to learning today as we progress into hero pose. Namaste, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow.